All right, so you're about to start playing Resident Evil Resistance and you want to start with Val. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to get her started, some key points about the survivor. Let's go ahead and get this video started. How's it going today, Embers? It's Tavari, aka Flare Unique, and we are going over a starter build for Valerie. So let's go ahead and start with some of her key points. Valerie's main role starting is a medic and support for the team, so that's what you should be focused on. You want to stay in the back line. You want to be there to heal your teammates and be the backbone of the party. If you're just starting up, in time you'll learn how to better suit your role for your party versus whatever mastermind it is that you're going to be going against. That being said, that is one of the tricks to this game. When you're starting a match, you don't know what mastermind you're going to be going up against, so all you have to go off of is the party members that you have. So try to suit your role based on who you have on your team, knowing who's going to be able to take out cameras, who's going to be able to be the front line for your team, where you need to be on your team. Now starting, you're not going to be able to do much more than, like I said, play your main role, be the medic or be the support. Well, be the medic and the support. If you've already been playing as survivors, then you probably already have some equipment. Try to gear as much of that as you can towards being the team medic. Like I said, that's just your starting role. You can adjust that later, but just starting, try to do that. Now, if you're just starting off, Valerie's abilities are amazing right off the start. The only thing that will be slightly holding you back is the fact that you won't have any equipment to get her really geared towards a certain role or a certain build, but in time you will get those. Let's go ahead and move on to her abilities. Okay, just starting off, we have Valerie's modified first aid spray ability. Valerie can use a limited duration first aid spray to heal or buff nearby teammates. Remedy heals nearby teammates of injuries and infections. Base cooldown 150 seconds. When you drop this, if your teammates are falling down on health, they can easily pull right back up, but it also does get rid of the infection, and this does play a big point with many masterminds, as infection will begin to drop your time off. The higher the infection level, being that there are 3 stages, it's more rapid that they'll begin to take time off of your clock. This is an amazing ultimate skill, and it is her starter ultimate, giving your teammates a radius that they need to be within in order to be healed. Now, this helps for downed teammates. You can instantly bring them back up if they so much as crawl within its range. And it also does take down infection. That plays a big part here. Many masterminds play with the intention of keeping your team infected because it constantly drops time off of the survivor clock. Valerie's other fever skill ultimate would be Spray Gun. Uses a healing spray gun to restore teammates' health on the go. Base cooldown is 120 seconds. Now, the base cooldown for this is 30 seconds less than the original ultimate skill, but the thing is that she sprays this out and only heals, very quickly heals, but only heals health. She does not take away infection with this, hence why I still like using the other ultimate better, because I like taking infection off of my teammates. That infection with 3 different stages can come more rapidly and really drain time quickly. So if you can help your teammates to take that off, I feel like that's a better advantage. But once again, this all goes to playstyle. You choose whatever works best for you, but you do have to get to rank 23 in order to unlock this ability. I have not yet gotten there because I don't play survivors very often. All right, Valerie's personal skill, Survival Instinct. Valerie can mark nearby items, important objects, and threats, making them easier for teammates to find. The primary ability that you'll get when starting off with Valerie is Creatures. It marks all nearby items, objects, creatures, and bioweapons, and increases the damage marked targets receive from all sources. The cooldown is 30 seconds. This is a great skill to have, and I'm glad that she has this right off the bat, because you will find a lot of people like to use creatures. It's slowly turning in a different direction, but still. Creatures will receive extra damage from all of your teammates, all damage sources. So this is a very important ability for your entire team. Once again, falling into being a support for the team. As noted, this is also very important in being able to mark and find items. A lot of the items are small and hidden all around the map in places that one would not think to look, especially when you're under the stress of being chased by something, or there's guns being pointed at you, or you've got traps everywhere. There's a lot to be focused on, so Valerie makes it easier to find these things. Note that it also does mark objects. This works for either one of her personal skills. When marking objects, you'll do more damage against them. This being like the biocores at the end of stage 3. Your entire team will deal more damage against these objects. So Valerie is, I believe, a must-have on practically any team. Valerie's second survival instinct would be traps. This one is unlocked a little bit later in. I don't remember what rank because I've already unlocked it, but it marks all nearby items, objects, and traps. Increases the damage marked targets receive from all sources. Cooldown 30 seconds. Still, this has the same cooldown as the other ability, and it doesn't differ too much. The only difference here is being that you don't target creatures with this ability. Instead, you target traps, making them take more damage and making them easier to spot. I don't find this one to be as useful because there's not a lot of trap masterminds, so I personally prefer keeping the other as opposed to being able to identify traps. Alright, this skill variant is Biochem Expertise. Valerie's unique skills give her team a winning edge. I'm currently using debuff, but this is an ability that is unlocked later. Headshotting enemies cancels out one enemy buff, so when the enemies are constantly bringing out creatures that are buffed with regen and berserk and all these other things, that takes everything off of them, so they can't continue to, someone like Daniel can't continue to be regenerating and moving extremely fast if you land a headshot on them. Be aware that that'll cause many Daniels when using Yorick to run from you, so that they don't get a headshot from Valerie, keeping them fast and keeping them regenerating and making it hard for you guys to take him down. That is very common. When starting with Val, your Biochem Expertise that you'll have is Healing Aura. Boosts the effect of all healing items for Valerie and nearby teammates. This once again falls into being a support. You, by being near teammates, are giving them better healing off of the items that are being used on them. So it's not exactly my favorite. I was actually very happy when I unlocked the other ability because I find it way more useful to be able to debuff enemies. So I don't use this one very often, but this is what you are going to have to start with. The only downfall to her kit kind of in starting. The final skill variant for Valerie is Explosive Knowledge. This is an ability that is also unlocked later for her. This allows grenades and flash grenades to be used to counter most creature grabs. Also removes stock limits for Valerie on explosives sold by the Armory. This is a very popular build right now. Using this one, a lot of people can buy lots of grenades and Molotovs, especially if they have the equipment to further back that and have more money, but you should be focusing more on her other skill because that's the one that you'll be starting with. That skill, being Surplus, causes killed creatures to possibly drop grenades and flash grenades. I find either one of these is very helpful. I'm probably gonna switch back to this one. The ability to have grenades and flash grenades is very helpful, especially when you're dealing with creature mobs and masterminds who love to use creatures in general. I think the only reason I switched over to the other ability is because the starting box would not give me enough flash grenades or regular grenades or Molotovs to be purchased. So I switched over to that just to be able to buy them if I needed them when the situation calls for it. But this is an amazing ability to have, especially since this is in her starter kit. You'll really gain from this. Alright, so we've gone over her abilities. Let's go ahead and talk about her playstyle. We're not going to be covering the grenade spamming Molotov Valerie because that's not something that you're going to have right off the start, especially because you're going to need the equipment and the right abilities to be able to do that. So let's talk about starting Valerie. However, when you are ready, there are videos online that'll help you out with that build, and maybe I can cover one later. But right now I know there are plenty of builds detailing how to play Infinite Molotov Valerie. but you're gonna have to wait some levels until you can get there. So one thing that I can tell you about her is that you have to be direct with your intention with Valerie. Don't go for a full medic build and then try to be the front line of your team. Don't go for a gun build and try to go switch over to melee. It's just not necessary. Try to be as direct as you can, and this all does fall back again into knowing your place with your team and developing that as you go on into more matches and get to know more about her. One of the biggest points to playing with Valerie is using that search skill. It is up so often and it's absolutely 100% helpful to your team, so make sure that you're constantly using that. If you're not, you are failing your purpose as Valerie. It is ingrained in her play style. Like I said, not only does it help do more damage to the creatures or the traps, depending on which one you choose, but it also helps you do more damage to the biocores. It helps you find items. This is a necessary resource. If you want to gain more credits, you're gonna need to be searching for them. If you want to get more healing items, you're gonna have to be searching for them, and the stress of being chased can stop you from being able to efficiently do that. So keep using that search skill as often as possible, with intention, of course, but as often as possible in new areas that you're walking into, and when you know that there's creatures behind the door, get your team ready. Use the search skill and up their damage. Another thing about Valerie is that she gets extra space from her backpack, so use that space to pick up items that maybe your teammates aren't around to be able to pick up, extra things that they can't handle carrying at this time. Bring the items along, drop them down for them to use later. This is something that you can do to once again be a good support to your teammates. They gave you the extra space, you might as well use it. Also, be ready to heal your teammates in times where damage is really pouring in and infections are rising. If your teammate has like 2 or 3 people infected, this is probably a good time for you to take the infection away, especially if you notice that your teammates aren't carrying blue herbs. They're not healing up their infections. That means they are bleeding out time off of your survivor clock. So do use your ability when possible. Remember that this is only possible if you are not using spray gun. Spray gun does not take away infection. It does heal faster, but it doesn't take away infection. Now, since you're playing support, it's important that you identify your most skilled player and stick with them. Don't leave their side. You need to keep this person alive and support them, be their backbone, because if they die, then chances are things just might start falling apart. You might have a full skilled team, but if not, like I said, identify that strong player, stick with them and keep them alive. That's your job as the support medic. In a 1 to 10 scale, I'd give Valerie a 10 on starter survivors because she's able to really be in the back line more often, and you're able to passively play, providing the support to your team. And you're really able to take in and gain knowledge of how other survivors work and how the game is played. You're able to really take in and gain more knowledge. If you were playing someone who's frontline, you're kind of rushed. You have a lot more to do. You don't have the ability to stand back and really intake a lot of information. That's one of the key points to playing Valerie as your starter. So take advantage of that. Stay in the back and do what you can, but stay out of danger and really take in what your teammates are doing and why they're doing what they do. Take in the mastermind's play styles. Take in every bit of information that you can, because that's what she allows you to do. You don't have too much to do as her, just help. All right, so now that we've got all the explanations and the key points out of the way, I'm gonna pull up some gameplay, match that I played with one of my streaming friends, Cinder Ash, and I'm going to show you how to put all of that into effect. Just keep in mind everything that I've said so far. I am using a couple of abilities that you won't have off the start, but the playstyle still remains the same, and I'm going to be playing the exact same way as I would have if I was starting with Val. Do be aware that when you're first starting to play this game, if this is the beginning for you, you have to be ready to accept some losses, because it is going to happen. You need time to build up equipment, to unlock abilities, and gather all of the elements that you need to fulfill your playstyle. In this match, I'm running equipment that allows me to constantly keep my search ability coming up and to also lower the cooldown of my ultimate skill so that I can keep healing the party in times where it's needed. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this up. I'll see you guys at the end of the video.
do you fight? Let me make this end.
Why are you doing this to us? I might be able to see something.
Your deaths will be further evidence. This research and environments are too dangerous for this world. Not lethal by itself, but it should buy me some time. Make your peace.
Fuck, where's my ammo? If it's here, I'll find it. Not getting through here easy.
I cannot sit idly by while you attempt to use that.
Let's have a closer look.
Must use brute force. Then I shall. Your continued efforts only place humanity in greater danger.
I might be able to see something. If it's here, I'll find it. Lights out. Healing spray deployed.
I will handle this myself. So many of you are still alive. Very well. I must continue.
There's gotta be something useful here. Don't fuck with me. Let's have a closer look.
Damn. More than that to stop me. The master of unlocking.
Someone's not making this easy for me. Checking.
Brutish. Not sufficient for this task, I believe.
Something. I'll get it.
was never meant for you.
There's gotta be something useful here. Checking. Let's have a closer look.
Infection levels up a bit.
I need the things that go into the bullet things. Everyone feeling better? I don't like being watched.
I must fix this myself. Don't think of this as winning. Think of this as selfishness. I always had the advantage. Now it is sealed.
No one's really gonna mind. Will they? I feel so naughty.
It's empty.
The next area should see to your demise.
I might be able to see something.
Precisely on schedule.
Wow. This is no good.
Enemies will be destroyed.
Just like on a race.
You should stop now. Accept your demise.
Something useful here. Get near me and I'll heal you. I could do without this.
Must fix this myself.
Check. Healing spray ready when we need it.
The infection's getting worse.
Healing over
Get
here.
over here.
I will handle this myself.
If it's here, I'll find it. You are all so incredible, like superheroes in there. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps it up for Valerie as a starter. If there's anything that I missed, let me know down in the comments. If you have any other suggestions for what Valerie should be doing, leave that in the comments as well. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. And for more game related guides and videos and reaction content, give that subscribe button a little jab. As always, stay safe, be bright. I'll see you guys in the next video.